Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good night, and welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
And we're excited to be here.
Listen, thanks for checking in.
Welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
And G, we're back for another
Here we
episode.
Another
mean, we are doing it.
Yes, sir.
You excited?
I'm so excited.
I'm
T.
excited for today.
I'm having fun.
I'm having
so much fun.
I too am having a lot of fun. And today we have an amazing guest.
Yes, we do.
I'm really ready for her.
I think the people. The question is, are the people ready?
Oh, she's extremely talented.
Yes.
And we're so honored that she wanted to be on our platform.
So thankful.
Very exciting. This week, what do you got planned for the week? This week, anything going on?
No, just working hard, man. I don't think I got anything in particular going on. How about you?
So this week, of course, I'm going to tune into Jazzy Conversations with Teef and Gigi.
Well, that goes without saying. Yes.
And then after that, as you know and the world knows, this is the best part. Watch what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
For our fans that we receive email from LA, Philly,
yes.
that feels so good.
It
Ohio, different things like that. We're located in New Haven, Connecticut. Listen to the last words, Connecticut. And our Lady Yukon Huskies will be performing in March Madness. So we're very excited about that. So I'm excited about that
Congratulations,
this week, right?
Lady Huskies. Yes, sir.
All right. Before we do that,
let's get to it.
As you guys know, I always have questions for G, and she usually reverses them and toss them right back to me. So with that being said, G.
Yes.
Before we bring Mrs. Angela Robinson on.
Can't wait.
Here we go. I got 5 questions for you.
Okay.
I want to know.
Yes.
The world want to know.
The world.
Okay. We are both suckers for a love story.
I am. Yes.
Especially back in our generation, going to see a love movie was amazing. All right.
Yeah.
I want to know your favorite. Now think about it.
Okay.
Top 5 love story movies of all time.
Okay.
Top 5.
All right.
All right.
All right, here we go. Now, this one, I don't know if a lot of our listeners know this one, but last week you asked me about my favorite actresses, and I mentioned Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
She's in one of my favorite love story movies, and it's called The Bridges of Madison County.
Oh, okay.
It's just I love this. This is me and my sister. This is where we get tissues and Kleenex.
I love it.
It's
that's old school.
One.
Old school.
It's older. It's her and Clint Eastwood of all people.
And I got an old one too. So
yes,
okay.
I love that one. I love Brown Sugar.
Brown Sugar. You like that
I
one?
do.
Okay.
You kidding me? That's from our day.
There you go.
I love Love Jones.
I
can't
there
get
you
enough
go.
of Love
Yes.
Jones.
Give me that.
Listen,
come on, that's a classic. That's a classic.
I love.
I was
gonna
say that one, so I'm gonna give you that one.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that one too.
Tate was doing his thing.
That was one
in
of
the
my
day,
5, but I'll give it to you.
Nia Long. I also, let's see, let me go back. Oh man, you kill me because you make me do 5.
5 good
he makes
ones.
me work,
Yeah.
girl. This ain't easy.
Because people out there thinking, and we want to know yours as well. Feel free to email
know.
us. Tell us your top 5 love stories of all
Top 5
time.
love story movies.
You have 2 more.
I got 2 more, and I'm gonna go with. I'm really proud of myself how quick I came up with those. Another 2. Let's see. I love Mahogany.
Mahogany.
I like
Oh
Mahogany.
my goodness.
That's a
yes.
really, really good one.
Yes.
And man, Teef, I know I got another one in me.
Yeah, because later on you're gonna be
So
like,
this
I should have
is gonna
said.
this is gonna be it's a love story, but it's about a father and his kids.
Okay, I mean.
And this one is some people might debate, but it's Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire. Oh, I used to love that. I used to
I
love
thought
that.
when I remember seeing it and thinking this
Robin
is gonna be
Williams.
a comedy.
Oh,
Robin
that
Williams
was
was gonna crack me up.
he was amazing.
And he did. But when I watched it, I was like, this is a love story about a father and his children. And so that's my 5th.
That's
and I'm
you,
sticking
G.
to it.
That's you.
I'm
That's
sticking to
you.
it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay.
What you got? You know, I'm toss it over
you
to
go.
you, Teef.
Pop,
Your
pop,
top
pop, pop.
5 love stories.
My first one, classic,
Yeah.
probably isn't everyone's top 5. Titanic, which I absolutely
Oh,
love.
very good. Get the
Okay, yeah,
classic.
gotta have it. The Notebook. The Notebook is one of my
Teef,
top.
you're
Yeah,
sensitive
yeah,
soul,
yeah. I'm knocking them out.
you.
Pow! Watch this one. Ghost. Ghost.
Oh.
Ghost. He was one of my
Oh.
favorite actors as well. Patrick Swayze. Love
He
him.
was
Absolutely.
good. He
Love
was
him.
really good.
Okay. These two, I'm not sure if you ever seen or heard of, but I mean, oh my goodness, I love these two. Love, love, love. It was a movie by Mel Gibson called Forever Young. If you guys are
Oh.
out there,
I didn't see
please
that
Google
one.
that. Forever Young, by Mel Gibson. Back,
Okay.
I think it came out when we were seniors in high school. When
Oh
I
my
saw it, it was
goodness.
amazing,
I don't think I saw
amazing.
that one. I'll
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
check it out.
Long time ago, '92. And my last one is a classic.
What do you have?
I mean, I swear I love this movie, and it's old school.
Uh-huh.
It's The Way We Were.
Oh, with Barbara
Yes,
Streisand?
yes.
Oh, let me
And
ask you
Robert
this.
Redford, because it deals with, it was the time in their life. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen the movie?
You know what? I know the music, but I don't
Oh
think I
my
ever watched the
goodness,
movie.
yeah. It started in
Yeah.
college. It was a movie. I don't want to go into it, but if you never saw it, The Way We Were, Robert Redford
Yeah.
and Barbara Streisand.
Yes.
So those 5 I would take because you took Love Jones. And another one, of course, I just want to sneak one in, like you snuck Rakim in that time,
I do.
is Love and Basketball.
Yeah,
So
those
it
are
was like, yeah. So
good.
those are
Let me ask you,
okay.
did your wife know she was getting such a sensitive soul when you had to tell
Oh!
she he's so sweet.
Back
Oh.
then, she would have said, "Oh," but now she like, "Yeah,
Oh,
whatever."
right, whatever.
You know how it go years later.
I do
Yeah,
know what
whatever.
that's like. Yes, yes.
So listen, welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef,
And I'm Gigi.
and ladies and gentlemen, we are about to bring on a great guest. I hope you're ready. You ready? Here we go. Welcome to Jazzy Conversations. I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are excited. We have the wonderful, beautiful Angela Robinson, a.k.a. Veronica Harrington, a.k.a. here's the big one, guys, Mrs. Florida A&M. Don't forget, she was top queen at Florida A&M. Angela, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. We're so excited to have you. Everyone around the world is extremely excited to have you, especially in the tri-state New England area.
Yes.
So we're very excited
Yes.
to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Goodness.
I love that area. I was there this summer, so I got to get back.
All right.
come
What
on back.
part? Where were you at? Where were you at? Where?
I was in Boston.
Okay.
I was in Maine. I was in New Hampshire.
Okay. Nice.
In the
nice.
summer months.
Yes.
It's a far cry from what it is this time of year. So
Yeah.
summer is where it's at for me.
Yeah. I don't want to be there now.
No. Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is
Mhm.
we're gonna go through the process. I know a lot of people know who you are. They're excited to watch you. They want to know your story. Some people know your story, but some people don't. So we just want to go through the process, the background, and I want to lead up to that big call that you got for Tyler Perry's "The Have and the Have-Nots." So I want to start. So I want to start at the beginning, and I want you to tell us your family background, your siblings, anything like that, so we could just start with your story.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
Had a great Southern upbringing
Mhm.
with both of my parents, and I'm my mother's only child.
Oh.
And I have 2 siblings on my father's side. My brother and my sister still live in Jacksonville, Florida, and we're a close family. And let's see, I moved to, well, first of all, my mother was a drama teacher, and she directed the senior class production of plays. So I fell in love with theater from watching her
Nice.
direct those plays and musicals. And so years later, I moved to New York to pursue that career, much to her chagrin. I still did it.
Really?
Absolutely.
So even though that was her field of choice and she was in the field, she was not encouraging for you to pursue that?
No.
Interesting.
You know, the thing about it, she was a teacher. She was an English teacher who was over the drama department. So as far back as I can remember, like third grade, not even 6 years old, I wanted to be a teacher. And she didn't like that idea either.
She knew all the pitfalls. She knew all the stressors.
She knew. So, I think that was definitely a generation where, it was first generation college educated Black folk. And I think they really wanted what they thought was better for their kid. And
lawyer, doctor.
Exactly, lawyer, doctor. And so, even now I try to tell parents what's best for your kid is what their passion is,
Absolutely, absolutely.
My parents came around and they're both deceased, but they later in their lives claimed that I always knew that she would
It was in the bloodline. It was in the bloodline.
Yeah, they could say that later,
it was in the
right?
blood. That's what they
Hindsight
say.
is 2020, mom and dad.
But they never lacked support,
That's
though
good.
they made it very clear to me how they felt. They never missed a show. They were always in the audience.
Beautiful.
I always walked in on them talking to their friends about everything I was doing. So they never forgot to offer or neglected to offer me their support.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, as a parent,
good.
it
Right.
brings you great joy to see your child out there performing. It brings you great joy.
Having
We both know.
success, right?
Now, quick question. In high school, did you start acting? Did you do any plays in high school?
Not really. I was a dancer in high school.
Oh,
okay.
And an instrumentalist. I played the clarinet and I was a dancer. Yeah. So I didn't really start acting until I got to FAMU.
All right.
Go
There you
back.
go. All right.
When I got to FAMU, I started auditioning for plays and musicals, and that's when the bug really, really hit me.
Okay. All right. So let's go through that. So you went in as a freshman. Now, was that your college of choice, or was it a scholarship through the theater, or how did that happen?
It was a Willie James Robinson mandate. That was my dad.
Understand.
This is where you're
I
going.
hear that.
I got you.
And he's paying, right? He was paying.
Exactly. So both of my parents and all of my aunts and everybody went to FAMU.
Oh, so that's legacy.
Wow,
I get it. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
HBCU.
HBCU.
Absolutely.
So I applied to a lot of places, and my dad was excited about that, and he was proud, that I was getting into colleges. And he said, "That's nice, but if I'm paying for it, you're going to FAMU."
This is where you're going. You got to respect that. You got to respect that.
By the shine in your
I
eyes, you don't look like there's any
of it.
regret. That looks like you were very happy about that selection.
I had the best 5 years, actually, of my life.
And that's Gigi and I, our 5 year. We had a nice run in school as well. So that's interesting. So you got there. You arrived at FAMU, and you started acting. You started. Were you a cheerleader there as well, or?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I was a dancer there, though.
Dancer, excuse me.
Immediately got involved in dance there. Did some modeling with the modeling troops there, and I started auditioning. Of course, like I said, the bug bit me when I was 10 with my mom.
Okay.
So when there were, I did a freshman year, I did a production of The Wiz, and it was amazing. I was a choreographer of that, and so I was just really loving that. I majored at that time in computer science, of course, still trying to please the family.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so I when I was to choose a major, that's the major I chose. And then my father, his compromise was that I could also take as many acting, singing, dancing classes as I wanted, as long as I didn't fall behind on my studies. Probably around junior year, it hit me that I wasn't no computer scientist.
And that you would know.
By that time, you would know.
You would know.
And, I mean, I was struggling. I was struggling to maintain my grades.
See, I like you already, Angela. See, you and I have a little something in common. This one right here.
Listen.
She was I mean, she was class president.
He loves
She
calling me a
went to
brainiac.
Temple University. She was very bright, very articulate. You and I,
Uh,
we went to school and had a ball. You know, I was,
uh,
you know,
I
so
did.
you were Miss FAMU, so we got to lead up to that as well. So
Yeah, I was Miss FAMU. I ran for Miss FAMU my junior year, which is the same year I discovered that I wasn't gonna do computer science. And in order to compete for Miss FAMU, you had to have a certain grade point average.
okay.
And so when I was worried about that based on a computer science class, I was like, I gotta get out of
Gotta
here.
get
Like,
out of that.
like, I don't even like this stuff, you know? So anyway, I ran for Miss FAMU and won, and it was of course probably the most proud I've ever seen my father. He was just
Wow.
so happy about that, and so was I. It was a wonderful honor, and then I changed my major to sociology, and that was I could not. He would not allow me to major in theater, which is what I wanted to do. But I chose something that would allow me to study people and study the process of socialization, which is very much what actors do. I was able to sort of stay in that realm. I still did productions. I was cast in my first lead at FAMU at the same time that I was Miss FAMU. So I was a busy girl. And the fifth year was just sort of trying to get out of there, you know,
Just
like
enjoying
trying
yourself.
Tying up
you
the
know,
Yep,
knots.
enjoying
Yeah.
yourself.
trying to tie up all the loose ends, and that was great too. Yeah, it was FAMU was a very memorable time. I still go back. I've been invited several times. I did the commencement speech in 2020.
Oh my goodness,
I've
amazing.
done some homecoming convocation speeches. So I still go back. I'm a rattler, you know, I bleed orange and green.
Beautiful,
That's beautiful.
beautiful,
That
beautiful.
is.
So you graduate, dad, baby girl. He's so proud.
Yes.
And then and after that, what's the next step? So you graduate, and what happens after that?
Wow, you know those are the years of discovery, those are the hard years.
Uh-huh.
Now right after that, I went back home lost. Like, what am I gonna do? What I really want to do, or what I'm supposed to do? What everybody expects me to do?
Correct.
Yeah.
And so you know, the plan was to go to graduate school and continue to pursue my career in the social sciences. And I auditioned for a musical at the only professional theater in Jacksonville. I had never worked professionally as an actor before. I didn't even know, honestly, that was a thing.
Wow.
And I auditioned and got cast in one of the principal roles. And that's when I really sort of discovered this life as an actor, that, you know, there are unions and there are benefits and there is a retirement plan and there's health insurance. These are things I didn't know. I was always led to believe that acting was just this gypsy thing that people did, you know. So when I started telling my father about my paycheck was higher at the theater at night than my day job, he was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Tell me more.
That's what he wanted to hear. That's old school.
So, and I had all these
That sounds like my
benefits.
father.
Yeah, and so you know, then I had all these benefits, and he was so excited about that. And at that time, I had years before graduated from the Barbizon School of Modeling. I don't know if you
I
remember that.
Barbizon.
Yes.
I do.
So when I was 13, I was a tomboy. My mom took me to Barbizon, said, "Oh, please refine her." So when I graduated from college, that's the first place I went because I figured I could teach there.
Okay.
And they did give me a job as a teacher, and I continued to move up as the education director. And then finally, I became the director of the school. And
Wow.
so I'm doing that while working at the theater at night.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just say, and then working on a demo because I was really going to be the next Whitney Houston too. So I was doing all these things,
Singing,
Wow.
dancing, acting,
all
beautiful, quadruple threat.
Yes,
all
yes.
of these things,
Popular.
doing pageants, doing pageants. I was running for Miss Jacksonville and just
Wow.
doing really busy, trying to figure out my purpose, my reason, for being here. And that professional theater that I auditioned for, that cast me, the owner of that theater said to me before he cast me, he said, listen, if I cast you, I have to give you your union card because we're a union theater and I have to give it to you. I don't want to give it to you. And I said, well, why don't you want to give it to me? Because they make more money if you're union, right? So I said, why don't you want to give it to me? He said, because you have no professional experience. And then now if I give you a union card, you're going to be competing with people who are union and you might not get those jobs. It's best to be non-union for a while and then get all this experience. And he said, but I really want you in the show. So here's what I'll do for you. I'll cast you as much as I can. I'll use you as often as I can at my theater so that you could get the experience you need.
Okay.
And he did that for me. And I was in all sorts of musicals. I mean, while running the Barbizon, while working at Barbizon and doing pageants, I was in all sorts of musicals that really trained. It was training. That's what it was.
Right.
He helped to train me.
Yeah.
And I would say the second season of doing that, he said, I said, so what are you doing next year? And he said, a lot of fun stuff, but you won't be in it. And I thought I was in trouble. I was like, what did I do?
Right.
And he said, I really think you could make it in New York.
It's
and if
time.
I cast
Oh, what a guardian angel. This person
Absolutely.
really looked out.
Wow.
he kicked me out.
Yeah.
He kicked me out. Yeah.
It's
And he's
beautiful.
still a mentor today.
Now, how did Dad feel about that when you went home and told him, listen, the next step is New York City, the Big Apple?
Yeah, he never, yeah. By then he didn't know ever what to expect from me.
Okay.
So he was fine. My parents, as much as reluctant as they were, they brought me to New York as a young girl. They took me to the theater, and I know they thought that was just to expose me, not for me to do it.
Right.
Right.
But, you never know.
You never know. So I know he didn't think of it as, oh, the big city, she knows nothing about that, because he exposed me to it.
Okay.
I think they were really worried about how your girl was going to eat. And when I got here, I was visiting with a friend after Todd, the owner of the theater, kicked me out. I auditioned for another theater in Arkansas. And I got hired there, and that's where I met my husband. So thank goodness he kicked me out.
Absolutely.
Good timing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So then the roommate that I had at that theater was moving to New York when it was over, and I was like, "Hey, I want to move there," And so once she got settled in, she said, you should come for a visit and just see, how you like it and where you think you'd want to live and all that. So I did, and they let me hang out on their couch for about a week, and she was kind enough to sign me up for an audition. And I hated her for it when she first did it, but I was like, I'm not here to audition. I don't even have any music with me. I just want to look around. She said, no, but you should see what the audition process is like. And I booked that job.
Look at her. She was a good friend. She was a good friend.
Yeah. So I never went back home.
Wow.
After I came to visit a friend, and I never went back home. I ended up subletting her apartment for a while and then getting my own apartment. And that's been now almost 30 years.
That is amazing. It's an
my
amazing
goodness.
story.
Absolutely.
You know what? I want to circle back to something you said, because I just think it is so important for our listeners. Either they have children who are in college, or they themselves have recently graduated. And what you said was that those are the hard years. And I think that is super encouraging, because you think you're coming out of college and that's it. I got my papers.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the world. And so I love someone who has had the career that you've had, saying to people, listen, that's when we're figuring it out. I was
Absolutely.
figuring it out. And so I just think that's such an encouraging piece of your story that I just wanted to highlight. You don't
That
have it
is
all
so
figured out just because you've got a degree.
That was
You're
beautiful,
just
Gigi.
starting to figure
That
it
No.
was
out.
beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are
Wow.
the hard years, and they were fun years too. I mean, it was a lot of. I was a church girl most of my life, and still, still somewhat a person of faith, but not necessarily a church girl in the way that I was then. And so during that time of figuring things out, I also kind of let myself loose, and ooh, I had
You
a
had a
lot
lot
of
of
You
fun.
got
fun.
real loose? We won't make
I
you tell
love
those
it. I
stories
love it.
here.
I love it. Angela, you got to laugh because I'm laughing because Gigi is a church girl.
I am.
And I go to church, but she's a little
Go ahead, T.
deep.
Go
She's
ahead
a
and
little
do
deep.
it.
She's a little deep with. So I like the part that you having fun. Fun is fun,
Oh, I had so much fun. I
Oh,
think
you and I both.
every church girl should have, a year like I had of just sort of figuring it out and getting other friends that were not quite the same level of commitment as myself. And so I grew up a lot. I learned a lot about how I could be around something and not be of it and not
That's
do
right.
it
That's
just
right.
because I was there. Everything was simple up until then, and so I grew up a lot during that time. And I think the reason why I say that I'm not a church girl like that anymore, because the church girl that was then was one of a lot of legalism.
That's
And so
different.
it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
really kind of based in a lot of, I don't do that and I don't drink, but I don't do that and I don't. And now it's based in love and
Understanding
faith
and
and
love. Yeah.
understanding. Yeah.
That's very
Beautiful.
different.
Now, when you transitioned to New York, did your husband come with you at the time to New York?
Well, he wasn't my husband yet.
He
Oh,
was
you
your
just met
boyfriend.
him.
Your boyfriend. Your
He
boyfriend.
wasn't even my boyfriend.
Oh,
Oh, this was
okay,
the
okay,
husband to
okay.
be. The
I
story
just met
unfolds.
him.
Okay.
I met him in Arkansas, and he was doing a play. I was doing a musical. I was, living with, like I said, she helped me get my first job, and she's still one of my best friends to this day. But I was living with this white girl, and there wasn't a whole lot of black people there. And I saw him, and I was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?"
There you go. There you go.
And he had just graduated from grad school with his MFA, and he was, just out here doing his acting and having studied it for his master's degree. And I was so intrigued by all of that. And he lived in New York and Harlem, and I was like, "Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
trying
my
to get there.
goodness.
Like this is what I want from my life." And so he said, "Well, when you get to New York, give me a call." And I did, and he didn't call me back for a while. And then he finally called me back, and he told me the reason why he didn't call me back is because he was dating someone. He needed to tie that up because he knew that I was the one.
Look at that.
Wow.
I was like, "Well, I wasn't thinking about you."
Wow.
Listen,
And we
T,
just
could we have known this was going to be about love stories?
and we
This
just
is
our pre-show was about love stories.
Oh, this is beautiful. This might be my new favorite love story. This is beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. So
it's pretty special.
so at that time you worked off Broadway and on Broadway, correct?
Well, by then, the first show that I got was a regional theater job in New Jersey, and it was 3 years later that I got my first Broadway show. It was called Play On, and it was a dream come true. I wanted to do a Broadway show since I was 10, so it was definitely a dream come true. Going back to the tough years, during that time, I was also, like I said, running for Miss Florida. I had won Miss Duval County, so I was in the Miss Florida pageant, and I put everything into that, into winning, into being the best I could be for that, and I didn't. I ended up placing. But I didn't win, and I came back home because my goal was if I could win Miss America or someone could see me, then they would discover me, and the rest would be history. And I came back home with all of my dreams sort of crashed. Well, how am I going to make this happen? What am I going to do? Like, the pageant didn't work out. And I was on my knees praying,
All right.
deeply crying, actually. And my pastor at the time had recommended a book called In Pursuit of Purpose by Miles Monroe. And I started to read that book. And that's when things turned around for me. That's when I knew that the things that were in my heart to do wasn't frivolous. It wasn't pipe dreamy. It was purpose.
Yes.
And once I knew that, then the way I pursued it was different. Then I understood why I couldn't just be discovered. I had to be trained, and I had to respect the craft.
Yes.
And I had to grow in the craft. And so when I moved to New York, it was with a seriousness that my boyfriend at the time wasn't ready for. He was like, "What now? What you know?" So and so he often talks about how serious I was about the craft, about my faith, about purpose. So when I got that first Broadway show, we got married about 3 years after I moved to New York, and he started calling me back. We got married, and I was actually doing Dreamgirls at a theater in New Jersey as well, and I was playing Dina Jones, and my husband, boyfriend at the time, walked out on stage at my bow in front of the entire audience.
Oh, I knew I'd love this love story. Go ahead, finish. Go
asked me
ahead.
to marry him. And so I said yes, and we got married. And then I would say a few months after we came home from the honeymoon, I got my first Broadway show. So, but I always, after I woke up and really accepted the call, because I think whatever purpose we have or whatever we're doing, if you're called to do it, it's a whole different thing.
That's right.
And when I did accept that, then every show, everything I did really was it was strategic. I thought about it seriously, and I never, we'll get into halves, but even from that first Broadway show, I was understudying 3 leads and trying to figure out how to be an understudy. I had never been an understudy before. But it was strategic. I got to learn from 3 huge Broadway leading ladies and be their understudy. So, God just gave me many opportunities to grow in my craft that I didn't get by majoring in it in school. He gave it to me through my work, and he gave me these huge opportunities that made my parents proud and gave me that piece. So it just all worked out. I later, after my 3rd Broadway show, I actually stopped the business and went back to school to study acting because I needed to know what I was doing. I knew that I was decent at it, but I didn't like not knowing why.
That's right.
Why?
You can stumble into doing something right. That's not the same thing as knowing why it's right. That's
right. And so I wanted to do that. So I took 3 years and studied acting and then came back.
Oh my goodness. Your story is beautiful.
I was just about to say, we're really enjoying this interview. Okay. So now we're going to transition.
Yes.
You're in New York. You're Broadway.
Yes.
Your manager or agent says Tyler Perry has a new TV show coming out. It's called Tyler Perry's The Have and the Have-Nots. What happens? What happens from there? You go to the audition. Tell us the story.
Okay, so it didn't quite happen like that.
Okay.
Tell us how it happened. Tell us.
So I back up. I'm in Atlanta, and I'm doing another musical called Into the Woods. I'm playing one of my dream roles. I didn't even audition for it. A friend of mine couldn't do it and called me and said, "Do you want to go play the witch in Into the Woods?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I've always wanted to play the witch in Into the Woods, and I love Atlanta. Yes, I want to go." I went, and the casting director of Tyler Perry Studios came to the show.
Look at
And
that.
she really loved my work, and she called 2 days later and said, I would love to audition you for a part in Meet the Browns. And I was like, are you serious? So I went to Tyler Perry Studios and auditioned for one scene in Meet the Browns, and I didn't get it. And I was crushed. I was like, oh my God, I had this one shot and I didn't get it. And it was a year and a half later that I was at home. I had been on tour for 2 years with The Color Purple. And I was at home sort of, again, figuring life out when you go on the road for 2 years. And my dad died within that time. My mother came to live with me within that time. So figuring life out, I'm just here, not doing any theater, not doing anything. I had actually taken a job at my church to run the arts department.
Oh, wow.
And I was teaching acting. And I got a phone call that Tyler Perry and Oprah were doing this new series for her new network. And I just came off the road working for Oprah and The Color Purple. So I was like, oh, I would love to do that again. She was a good boss. So they said, can you put yourself on tape and send in the tape? And so I did. Put myself on tape one night and sent it in. And the next day they said, we want to fly you to Atlanta to audition for Tyler. And I went to Atlanta and auditioned for Mr. Perry. And he was sitting in the dark in this room. I was auditioning with Gavin, who later played my son, Jeffrey. And Mr. Perry was sitting up in this theater where in the dark, and I couldn't see him, but this voice kept coming out. Okay, now this time do it like this, and this time, and I was thinking to myself, oh my God, that's Tyler Perry. But I never did see him, only I heard his voice. And so the audition was over. I came home, and I think I got the news the very next day that I got the part. And I found out later that Tyler was in the process of filming a Madea movie, and he had on his Madea clothes. That's why he didn't let us see.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
That is brilliant.
And so you get that part, and it changed your life.
Yeah, it definitely changed my life in ways big and small, in ways I could never have imagined.
Wow.
I was an artist. At that point, I had been an artist for years, and a working one. So it wasn't, life wasn't, it wasn't a dream. It had come true.
Right.
So when the show happened, I had been in Broadway shows that were exciting, and then they closed in 2 weeks. Nothing really got me excited because I was like, well, this thing, who knows what it's gonna do?
Yeah,
I had become a little old and jaded.
A little cynical.
I was like, but it'll be fun to work with Tyler Perry, and it'll be fun to see Oprah again, and all of that. And so we started the first day, and I saw Renee Lawless.
Let's give a shout out to
Renee.
our good friend, all three of us.
She's our very first guest.
Our very first guest and a friend of all of ours. So I know she's watching.
I love my Renee so much.
Absolutely.
I saw Renee, and I know Renee from Jacksonville. I know her from pageants. I know Renee from New York. We just knew one another, and I couldn't believe that, God gave me this amazing television job. And I had always done theater, but not much television, although I had done some guest star stuff, but never a series regular on. And so I was like, Renee! And I felt like, my heart it calmed down because I had a friend here, and she was a theater person too. So I was like, oh, wow. And then Crystal Fox was an old friend of mine. Crystal Fox and I did theater together before I got married, we did theater together in Atlanta, and I loved her from then. We kept in touch somewhat, and we were just loved one another. So the fact that she was in it,
Oh,
I mean, I just calmed down.
such
I had this
comfort.
huge crush
Mhm.
on I had this huge crush on Peter Peros, who played my husband
Oh.
from his soap. So, I was like, I can't believe he's playing my husband.
Wow.
So it was just a dream come
It
true
sounds
kind
It
like
was your
it.
moment.
of
Your
So
moment.
beautiful.
It was your
Mhm.
moment. This interview has been great.
Oh
I
my
mean,
goodness.
absolutely. We're so excited, Angela, to have you on this show.
So dynamic. So
But
dynamic.
before we end this show, I want you to tell us a funny story because I'm loving the part about mom and dad. They're very educated. You were their baby girl. Tell us a funny story that your family would tell about you. What would they say about my baby girl, Angela? Is there a funny story that your family used to say?
Sounds like it.
They were just I guess they always told the story about when I was little and I was enamored. We would go to the country and I was enamored with the fireplace, and so I took my coat and hat and everything and threw it in there.
Threw it in the
That's
fireplace.
story. That they were like, they said, we were like, "Where's your coat?" And what? It was all in the fireplace. I threw everything in there. They were when I was. I also went to majority white, like I guess junior high school. And my dad was very much into making sure I went to different schools that would provide me different experiences.
Yes.
And so this time I was going to this school. My mother was a teacher, so I could sort of go to different schools without having to deal with whatever your address is.
Okay.
And so I went to this school and I came back, and my father talks about it to this day, how I came back on, "Oh my God, Dad, what are you doing?"
He was like, well, I didn't send you there to learn that. I didn't send you there to learn that, Angela.
Oh, that's a good. Gee, crazy. Oh,
So we're all bilingual, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
So he teases me about that all the time. When he would call me as I got to be an adult, he was like, "Oh, you got your Southside Junior High boys."
There you go. There you go. We all have them. We all have them.
That's
turn
right.
them on or turn them off.
Turn them on,
there you
turn
go.
them off. That's right.
Absolutely. So Renee, excuse me, I'm sorry, Angela. This is open dialogue. Tell us what you got going on. Are you writing any books, any movies coming up, any auditions, whatever you want to talk about? This is your time.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Well, I do have another series coming out, but I don't know when it's coming out. It'll
Okay.
be on Apple TV.
Okay.
It's called The Lady in the Lake, and it's sort of a suspense thriller, a suspense drama. It'll be a limited series on Apple TV. So whenever that comes out, I get to
Okay.
play the first Black female senator in Baltimore.
Okay.
Ooh, all right,
Y'all look
all
out for
right.
Angela.
That was a lot of
Mhm.
fun. Yeah, and I'm getting ready to do another movie, but I can't talk about that one, which
Okay.
is good. I'm writing a book and finishing it, called Art and Spirit,
Art and
and
Spirit.
it's a book about it's a daily devotional for
Beautiful.
artists.
Mhm.
It's just we have struggles with so many things, and I like devotional books. I have always loved waking up to them, but I've never found any that was particular to what my struggles are as an artist.
Nice.
Inadequacy, beauty, rejection, all of those things. And
goodness.
so the daily devotional for artists will really be a devotional for people, not just actors, but people who are pursuing something creatively, and why that's so important to the kingdom, and why that's so important for them to do for the world. So yeah, Art and Spirit, look out for
That
that.
is beautiful. I
And
pray
you
it's well
also-
received. Sounds beautiful.
Absolutely. And you also have hit. Well, tell the world about your hit podcast so they could tune in. You have podcasts yourself, a few of them.
Yes, I do. I only have one. It's called Artist Talk.
Okay.
And you can find it on my Art and Spirit YouTube channel if you want to see some older episodes. But it's we go live on IG, and then I save them to put on my YouTube channel, which is Art and Spirit. But yeah, I talk to artists for a good hour about their journey. What that hard time, right? How did you get through that hard time? Because I think I love to read autobiographies because I like to, it inspires me to see how people got through whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I enjoy sharing people's stories. I've had some great guests. I have Felicia Rashad. I've had the great Shirley Ralph, even before Abbott Elementary.
Wow.
Yeah, she's been great.
So Jennifer Holliday, during the pandemic, we were able to nail people down in a different way. And so, but I like to have the famous guests, but I also like to have people who are just working at their craft, people who are creative
that makes sense.
and doing something creative. Because everybody is a creator. Everybody is. But it's hard to convince people that they don't have to be trying to be famous in order to use their gifts.
That's right. That's beautiful.
So Angela, before we end this podcast, amazing interview, G. I enjoyed myself. My partner has 3 important questions to ask you.
And we'll start with, well, this is it. I want you to come up with 3 of your top podcasts that you listen or subscribe to.
Yours.
Okay, very good. Right. Without any coaching at all, folks.
Thank you so much.
Mine.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Art and Spirit.
And my sister, Tika Sumter, The Sugar.
Oh, okay. Tika. Okay, she has a podcast. Yes. All right.
She has a podcast for moms called The Sugar.
All right. Good. Angela, this has been an amazing, amazing interview. From the bottom of our hearts.
With an amazing woman. Yes, you're so amazing.
We want to thank you for coming on. We will have you back.
Oh, I would love it. There's so much more to talk about.
Yes.
We would love to have you back. On behalf of Jazzy Conversations, I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
Angela, have a great night. Take care.
Okay. Bye, Teef and Gigi.
Bye, Angela.
Oh, that was great.
Teef.
That was amazing.
There are so many layers to her. Number one, we could probably have spent a full hour talking about her and her life as a pageant queen.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Doing that work.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful.
She really is beautiful. We could probably spend another podcast just talking about her life at FAMU.
Absolutely.
Right? And all the things
absolutely.
that there's so many things to talk about with her. Her
mother, husband. I love the fact in regards to that was really getting me. I was thinking about everything she was saying about her dad and how he was very invested in her life because as a father, your children, you're just, I know how it is. They go to college, you're so proud of them. And then when they graduate, you're like, oh my goodness. So I really enjoyed that part of her story.
She's a sweet spirit. I really enjoyed having her
Absolutely. On. We will have her back.
Yes, yes.
Listen, next week we have another amazing guest. Please tune in every Wednesday at 6 p.m. On behalf of Jazzy Conversations, I'm Teef.
And I'm Gigi.
Have a great night, guys. Take care.